I love this next recipe. Then again, I like diphtheria.
The hell was that?
Today, could not be more excited. I'm sure happy it's Thursday because we get to make biscuits. This is her and I'm me. Biscuits are pretty easy. It's baking soda, baking powder, salt, flour, butter, and shortening. You can make it with either butter or shortening. I like doing both because you get neat textural effect. But you need to chill your fats.
Chill your fats.
Chill your fats. We've got our butter chilled. You're going to preheat the oven to 450. It's already been done for us by our crack technical staff. This is called the scoop and scrape method. It is an actual method, believe it or not.
Really? To me, that's the way you do it because you wouldn't let us do it any other way.
If you're making something really light, you'd want to kind of dump it in there so your flour stays light. You wouldn't tap it down at all. You just do that. 4 teaspoons of baking powder. Teeny little bit of baking soda. Baking powder is just baking soda with another ingredient which is escaping me now. But because of the, I'm supposing because of the acid in the buttermilk, we had to add just a little bit more of that. I think some salt, probably 3/4 of a teaspoon. You're gonna want to mix that around with a fork.
Literally?
Actually, yes. You're trying to, you want to kind of bring this all together so that you're not, staring at chunks of baking soda here and baking powder there. So you want to get it all incorporated together. So with your chilled butter, and we got 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of shortening. Dice this up just a little because what we're doing is we're distributing the fat. You want it to stay cold, and that's why we've chilled this first, is to keep it cold. Because the colder it is, the better your biscuits will turn out. Drop this butter in, and you're going to start, sans paper, just kind of doing that, and you're pressing the butter into it, and you're just going to keep doing that forever. It seems like a long time. And while she's doing that, I have frozen my Crisco, or my shortening, and it's still very soft. So, and that's part of the reason you want to use both is because they have different melting points, the 2 different fats. And so, you'll get a little bit of rise as one turns, liquefies and starts turning to a gas, and you get a little more rise when the other one does. And so you get a flakier, more tender crust. How are you feeling about this?
It feels like flour with chunks of butter in it.
Excellent. Here, let me play with it for a little while. And some people will cut it together, will actually blend it with their fingers. I have hot hands. If you're a person that has cold hands, that would be great, because you're not going to melt it. What we're trying to do is not have any chunks so big, that it is a great big stinking chunk of something. So you're just working it, and after a little while, it'll start to look a little grainy, a little more like sand, but ultimately, you're going to want it not to quite fall apart that much when you do a little grab and squish. It's a technical term. After you've made them a few thousand times, you can kind of start to get the idea of what it's going to feel like. It's very upsetting.
I'm very sorry.
I'm sure. We're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. Or the way Grandma did it. Not my grandma, of course, but somebody's grandmother. There we go. See, now that held together a little bit better. Okay. So, our flour is all good now, allegedly. And all that's left is buttermilk.
Excuse me.
I want to do Kevin Pollak's buffering gag. Kevin Pollak has a chat show. You ever see The Usual Suspects?
Yeah.
What? Really?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Never seen The Usual Suspects?
I don't know what that
It's like a
means.
1999
Kevin
Bryan
Spacey?
Singer film.
Kevin Spacey, it's a
Never
classic.
seen it.
Kaiser
I just know a
Sose.
lot
You
of
guys are making things up.
Because if you haven't seen that one, it only goes downhill from there. Anyway, he has a chat show. And he does this bit. He started doing it a long time, and he still does it. But halfway in the beginning of his interview, he'll say, "And today we're talking to Lori Singer." Nothing really happened, but it was a buffering gag. It was a gag to make you think that your feed was buffering. So we got our flour mixture.
Is that what that is?
And we're adding some buttermilk, and I'm going to hold back just a little, just in case.
Looks like baby drool.
It's not pretty. That's obviously too dry still. Yeah. It's supposed to take a full cup of buttermilk, but I always tend to hold it back a little just in case, because it's really hard to kind of come back from being too loose. You are just going to bring it together.
It's muffins.
Exactly. So there, it's together. As far as we're concerned, we have got a dough. Nice. So we're gonna pull this aside, and these are not at all sweet. Now, if you added sugar to them, basically the same recipe. I would think, without looking it up, I would think it's very close to the same recipe. Scones. If I had a bigger counter space, I wouldn't have even used a bowl. I would have
just done it all.
I'd have just used the well method.
Actually, seems like it would have been easy.
And
easier.
Do you have biscuit cutters or cookie cutters? I'm going to take that as I have no idea.
No, I know we do.
Oh, I need a round. Well, I need a round, 2-inch round cutter if you've got one.
Are you sure you don't want dinosaur biscuits? Because
you know what?
It's dinosaur biscuits. Generic shapes. Generic shapes. Yeah, well, that's what you get.
Of these.
Or you could use like the letter C or a trophy.
Bloody hell. Use this, which is probably not 2 inches.
Close enough. This whole thing is just me watching you do things.
You watching me try to do things. You really should have a cookie cutter that's tall enough to cut through all the way through the dough. And we
should have
don't.
brought a cookie cutter.
We have everything. I think that's exactly what you told me to do. We have everything.
Well, first of all, I said that after you left your house. And second of all, I was talking about ingredients.
These are going to make cute little biscuits. Now, if you were cutting these correctly, we're going to get down to the end here. I don't think I can squeeze 2 more out of this. These biscuits are all going to rise higher and lighter than everything that's left.
Okay.
So we're going to try to just barely bring it all together. None of these biscuits will be as good as those. And you just keep doing this. But like I said, they're never going to be quite right because they're never going to come together
Or
the
you
same.
can just eat everything while your dad does it.
Well, this was supposed to make like 6 biscuits. Now, here's the deal with biscuits. If you set them right next to each other, you'll get really soft edges. And if you give them a little bit of space, you'll get that nice crunchy edge. So
Put them right next to each other.
So you like the soft. But see, when you're having like biscuits and gravy, that extra crunch is really good to have in there.
That's ridiculous.
Do you want the rest of this dough? So we're gonna put these immediately into a 450 degree preheated oven, and we'll show you what they look like after that. And this will be a surprise to everybody involved. And it's been 15 minutes. The good ones, you can see that they came kind of straight up. They're pretty. And then these are all the ones that were cut out after the fact. And those are my favorites. We're putting like for putting anything that's wet. So sausage gravy, cream chipped beef, whatever it takes.
Cream chipped beef.
And we get and you open them and oh, look at the steam rolls out. Oh.
That's a money shot.
Yeah, exactly. So are they good? And that's it. The recipe is 15 to 20 minutes at a 450 in a 450 oven. We only went 15 because these were so much smaller than they probably should have been. So we figured they'd cook faster, and they did. If you made big 2.5 inch biscuits, probably take the whole 20 minutes. That's all I have. Easy peasy. Anybody ever tells you biscuits are hard to make? 8 minutes in the morning. It's almost as fast as just using a mix. Not as fast as using tubes, but I don't know what's in those tubes, but it's not a biscuit. Which is strange, because I thought, because those biscuits have been out for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, I don't know, forever. My whole life, probably. And they just never got any better. They're never, ever made them kind of like a real biscuit. People love them. Kids grew up on them, so they love them when they get to be adults, but that's because...
I'm never, crazy about them.
We didn't make them that much, though, either. Because I didn't, they're not biscuits. I don't know what they are exactly. In the same way as croissants are not croissants.
I don't think I've
Or
ever had
crescent
their
rolls.
croissants.
I think they call them crescent rolls to get away from the croissant name because it's not really involved. It has nothing to do with croissant. I don't know what I'm making next time. Next time I might make explosives. I've been thinking about making pop rocks. It just sounded like fun. I don't know if I need liquid nitrogen for that. We'll get back to you. Again, don't cook like my daughter.
Don't cook like my father. Don't talk with food in front of your mouth.